Hat in Time's better than Super Mario Odyssey. Changed my mind. Okay, so that's not entirely fair to say. Super Mario Odyssey goes in a far different direction than A Hat in Time in how it handles platforming and rewards, and I just happen to prefer the more character and progression-based worlds of A Hat in Time compared to the packed-to-the-brim worlds of Mario Odyssey. But that does bring me to a point of contention within the 3D platformer genre, the volume of any given level. Just how much stuff is in a given world is an incredibly hard tightrope to walk. Donkey Kong 64 has too much and you collect it 5 times. Yooka-Laylee has too little and incentivizes poorly. Super Mario Sunshine's blue coins are hated for being too numerous and spread out. Odyssey's Power Moons are praised for being numerous and spread out. There are so many metrics and little factors that go into a level's size and density that make it so hard to get right, which is why I find it so impressive that A Hat in Time's first world, Mafia Town, nails it on the first try. At first glance, Mafia Town is just kinda pretty. A fun, multi-layered town inspired by the Greek island of Santorini, with a great contrast of pretty blues, whites, and greens making it inviting to explore. Mafia Town is an inviting backdrop to just play around in, even if it's a bit standard and has been done by Sonic Unleashed. But it's the segmentation of Mafia Town that gives it its flavor. On first arriving, the player is dropped into an alleyway. It's pretty easy to tell you go forward in order to make progress. You see this girl with a mustache, and intrigued by her sheer level of stash points, most players are inclined to follow. The route she takes gives the player a great sense of the terrain, platforming through multiple points of elevation in a short time, and it's this brief platforming that triggers a wonderful and sometimes insatiable wanderlust in players. So many 3D platformers have wide open stretches of flat land, hills only existing for isolated challenges or as a speed bump, leading to more isolated challenges at higher levels of elevation. However, we platform players, we like them big and curvy. Seeing, hey, there's a thing over on that platform I have to jump to, is infinitely more interesting and fun than if I run slightly to the left, I get more thingies. Yay. If you're a platformer based around jumping, and you probably should be, jumping shouldn't just be encouraged, it should be fun. Every nook and cranny of Mafia Town is built around changing Hat Kid's vertical positioning, about having an opportunity to go up or down to another level with just a little bit of skill, and being rewarded for it. Anyway, back to the stash lass. You go forward, get a weapon, collect the first whatchamahoosit, and are sent back to the main hub. From there, you can go back into Mafia Town and are placed in a far less constrained area to begin. Though you can check where you're supposed to go easily with the touch of a button, the distance to the final area and immediate distractions like this Mafia member's dialogue prompt encourage you to explore more than making a beeline. And it's here that Mafia Town proves its worth by making an area worthy of exploration. Each area of Mafia Town is not only littered with magic marbles that serve as currency, but also charming bits of graffiti and characters to interact with. Easter eggs have become a long dormant art in the world of making bigger and better sandboxes, and little touches like having graffiti in a makeshift bed where Mustache Girl hides away, or this mafioso talking about how he loves shaking down a seagull's family with no attached gameplay objective, makes the world of Mafia Town seem so much more alive. Little touches like changing how Hat Kid dives off a diving board, seeing a giant slide and naturally wanting to go down it, or wondering why this totally inaccessible black market is here, add a life and joy to the world that can't be matched by even the most intelligently designed obstacle course or vast open world. But Mafia Town doesn't just settle for being charming. It decides to push that up to 11 by making exploration rewarding. Mafia Town has a ton of little biomes, from a beach to a bazaar to a shipyard, which keeps the sights and level geometry varied while still maintaining a unified theme. Spread throughout are balls of yarn to collect, which glow from a distance to immediately alert a nearby player of their presence. These lead to upgrades that the player will eventually have to acquire in order to get 100%. But not every single ball of yarn has to be collected. As such, it doesn't feel like a burden on the player to collect them compared to, say, collecting 75 colored bananas 5 times per level. Mafia Town's different biomes let the placement of these yarn balls shine, with little challenges varying from tight platforming on skinny girders to a series of long jumps. Better yet, Mafia Town is littered with objects that you can't interact with until Hat Kid receives an upgrade to her moveset. But all of the objects can be worked around. They merely aid in exploration and playing with the level. It's fun. It's exciting. It's not intangible red bananas that I won't get because Diddy isn't fun to play as! The combination of all these aspects is what makes Mafia Town so rich and wonderful to explore. None of it is required, and only a few areas are immediately beneficial to go through, but it's just so much fun to walk around in this world. I have long since held Super Mario Sunshine's hub, Delfino Plaza, as the gold standard for volume in a video game. A Hat in Time matches the simple joy of running around the rooftops of Isle Delfino, and builds upon it to make a level that would make Banjo beam with pride. In a gaming landscape increasingly concerned with size, it brings incredible joy to my heart that A Hat in Time remains focused on oozing charm from every pore and getting the most out of its world without becoming exhausting. I eagerly look forward to what DLC worlds the team decide to dish out. They've already shown that they know perfectly how to design for being cute as heck. Oh, and volume. That too.